Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello.
समस्त को नमस्कार, सबको जुहार। गंगाधर मेरी विश्वविद्यालय संबलपुर तरफ आज आम एठी वरेण्य कवि एवं जहाँ ना रे ए विश्वविद्यालय पूर्व महाविद्यालय नामित से ही वरेण्य कवि गंगाधर मेहर का जयंती अवसर में समस्ते आम जमा होइचु ब्लेंडेड मोड रे। आपण मन समस्त को मु गंगाधर मेहर विश्वविद्यालय तरफ स्वागत जनाऊँगी। आमर श्रद्धेय कुलपति महोदय प्रोफेसर एन नागराजन पौरोहित्य रे आज ये कार्यक्रम आम आरंभ करुछु। एथिरे आम पाइछु प्रख्यात कवि द एमिनेंट पोएट ऑफ ओडिशा श्री हरप्रसाद दास सर। मु तांको स्वागत करुछि हमर ए कार्यक्रम को। सर नमस्कार। एंड आई टेक दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी Mary University, all our head of the department, teachers, non-teaching staff members, and everyone, those who have joined this program. Thank you very much for joining with us. Thank you very much, the chief guest and chief speaker, the eminent poet of Odisha, very popular figure, Sri Haraprasad Das sir. Thank you for accepting the invitation of our Vice Chancellor and making yourself available for this program. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone. Now I request our system manager to play the university anthem, and let me tell you, a university कुलगीत जोटा को आमे एटा 2018 रे हेतिला। प्रोफेसर रतन कुमार पति वाइस चांसलर थिले। एई कुलगीत मध्य गंगाधर मेहरकर गोटे पॉपुलर सॉन्ग रु आसीची। आपण मन निश्चय भल लागे बसटा एवं सही आत्मार आत्मा को सम्मान जणई गंगाधर मेहर विश्वविद्यालय ए कैंपस नामकरण मध्य करिछि अमृत विहार बोली। तो सेति पई मो एबे रिक्वेस्ट करूछि हमर सिस्टम मैनेजर को हमर यूनिवर्सिटी एंथम बजेया पई, एंड आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू टू प्लीज पे रेस्पेक्ट टू द यूनिवर्सिटी एंथम।
रे गा सा रे मा गा रे सा नि सा। विश्व देखा मधुमय रे जीवन, विश्व देखा मधुमय, विश्व देखा मधुमय। मधुर झरण करी बहरण, मधुर झरण करी बहरण, तो पाप मरण भय रे जीवन। विश्व देखा मधुमय, विश्व देखा मधुमय। जननीर स्नेह दयार प्रणय, बुध बन्धु सदालाप, जनकदर एक एक झर, जनकदर एक एक झर, तडी देउछन्ति तापरे जीवन। विश्व देखा मधुमय, विश्व देखा मधुमय। मधुमय बने मधुमय सने, गाई मधुमय गीति, विहंग मगण पुरान्ति श्रवण, विहंग मगण पुरान्ति श्रवण, मधु ढाली नीति नीति रे जीवन। विश्व देखा मधुमय, विश्व देखा मधुमय, विश्व देखा
धन्यवाद। 1944 मसीहा जुलाई 7 तारिख संबलपुर कॉलेज आरंभ है ये किसी लोकों उद्यम रे। 1949 मसीह संबलपुर कॉलेज को नामकरण कराला गंगाधर मेहर को नाम रे। गंगाधर मेहर कॉलेज आरंभ है 1949 रु। 1991 मसीह गंगाधर मेहर ऑटोनोमस कॉलेज है एवं 2015 रे मे 30 तारिख ओडिशा सरकार गंगाधर मेहर ऑटोनोमस कॉलेज को गंगाधर मेहर विश्वविद्यालय में परिणत कले। किछि लोकन को कहिबा हला जो माने एई अनुष्ठान को भल पांती जे गंगाधर मेहर जयंती जेहेतु गंगाधर मेहर को नाम रही ओडिया रे कार्यक्रम परिचालना करबा पय अनेक लोक मत दियंती, किंतु मु आज एई अनुष्ठान तरफ कहबा को चाहूची जे आमे यदि गंगाधर मेहर कर चिंताधारा तांकर क्रिएशंस को आमे यदि इंटरनेशनल प्लेटफॉर्म को नेबा को चाहूछु तो आमे सही प्रकार चिंताधारा भितर निजे को रखिबा नाही। सेति पई जो माने भाबुथिबे कि आमे इंग्लिश रे भी ए कार्यक्रम रो किछि अंश हेई पारे, हमर जो स्पीकर अछंती श्री हरप्रसाद दास सर से देइछंती तांकर जो टाइटल आपण माने देखिथिबे हमर इनविटेशन कार्ड रे अछि गॉडेस वुमेन लिफ्टिंग द वेल ए रीडिंग ऑफ तपस्विनी। आमे दीटा वर्षन रे देइछु कार्ड रे देवी नारी अर्थभेदर अंतराल तपस्विनी एक पुनर्पाठ। तो आमर कुलपति महोदय सह कथबार्ता छल चीफ स्पीकर चीफ गेस्ट कही जे आम यदि इंटरनेशनल स्तर को नेबा चाहूँ से चिंताधारा को तो आम इंग्लिश रे मध्य आम कर कार्यक्रम। तो मुझे मानक जो मैंने अनुष्ठान को भल पाती समस्त को कही रखुची जे आम जदि आज इंग्लिश रे कार्यक्रम किसी अंश हो पारे हेले मध्य से क्षमा करेंगे आ गोटे बृहत दृष्टिकोण देखिले यही कार्यक्रम से निश्चय ग्रहण करेंगे आशा करुच्ची। मुझे अनुरोध करुच्ची आमर श्रद्धेय कुलपति महोदय प्रोफेसर एन नागराजु सर को फॉर द ओपनिंग रिमार्क्स सर।
On behalf of the Gangadhar Meher University community, join the celebrations and invite you all on this auspicious day of Gangadhar Jayanti and Shravan Purnima. This hallowed institution, which started way back in 1944 as Sambalpur University, Sambalpur College was renamed after this famous poet. So the place and the poet got mingled in 1947. After this mingling, our Holy Communion, the institution has been growing exponentially and contributing to the academic growth of Western Odisha, culture of Western Odisha, in fact, the whole of Odisha. We all know the significance of this day, a day we celebrate Bandhan, a bond among siblings and filial relations. So this institution would like to remind itself that it was bound in the name with the poet, whoever is credited with range of interpretations. Professor Madhupati, in his note to the translation of Tapaswini, talked about the three particular aspects about this poet. One is the rootedness and awareness of the poet in age-old culture of the country, the moral tenderness, and the irreducible simplicity of the poems. These are the three qualities he highlights in his note. Then how the poet weaves around such age-old ancient terms like asrama, like tapasvi, like sati, and other words, all his poetry and imagery woven around this beautiful vocabulary, which gives vent to the depth of his poetry. Next, another great attribute of this poetry, this poet is the deep awareness of the place. Some of the images that I was talking about, the flora and fauna and the green consciousness about Barapalli and around this place, the number of plants, okay, Niali, Jui, Jai, Mali, Ketuki, such range of places. In literature, we hold this as very, very important example of rooted consciousness, ecological consciousness. I think here is a poet who has brought his place into the national fabric, into the general fabric of humanity. So we are very proud to be associated with such legacy. We at the university would like to celebrate this day as a bandhan between the poet and the university community, between the ideals of the poet and the aspirations of the university community and expectations, between culture and our desire to be the ambassadors of this culture. I'm sure our reputed speaker for today will highlight these aspects and enlighten us with the contributions of this poet. I look forward to this talk, as all of you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. In the JM University, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam Registrar, all the teaching and non-teaching staff members, and everyone, we believe that we have inherited this institution with a great heritage. I take this opportunity to thank all the previous principals, including Dr. Madhar Mansingh, all the staff members, teaching and non-teaching, who have contributed immensely to this institution. So on this podium, we remember the contribution of everyone, so that this institution has come to this far. To carry forward the great legacy, and under the able leadership of our Vice Chancellor, two new things we are going to do today. As I have already mentioned at the beginning, the campus has been named as Amrita Vihar campus, and now we are going to revive the Meher Pradeep Journal. It was a magazine earlier. Now, under the able guidance of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, we are making it a biannual journal, and this Meher Pradeep journal will be multilingual and a journal of international repute. We are working on that. So the first issue of this revived version will be released today. And now I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N. Nagaraju sir, to release the first issue of the Meher Pradeep journal. Sir. Yes. I request the Vimobi Research Chair Professor Dr. Pradeep Ponda sir to conduct the event.
Thank you, Professor Panda, for this endeavor. Thank you.
ଏହା ବ୍ୟତିରେକେ ଆମର ଅଦର ଭାଇସ୍ ଚାନ୍ସେଲର, ରେଜିଷ୍ଟ୍ରାର ଏବଂ ଅନ୍ୟ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କ ସହଯୋଗରେ ଆମେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟିଏ ସ୍ୱପ୍ନକୁ ସାକାର କରିବାକୁ ଯାଉଛୁ ଗଙ୍ଗାଧର ମେହେର ବିଶ୍ୱବିଦ୍ୟାଳୟରେ। ଆପଣମାନେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ଆଗରୁ ପ୍ଲାଟିନମ ଜୁବଲି ଲେକ୍ଚର ହଉଥିଲା, 12 ଗୋଟି ଲେକ୍ଚର ହେଇଥିଲା ଅନୁଷ୍ଠାନ ପ୍ଲାଟିନମ ଜୁବଲିକୁ ମନେ ରଖିବା ପାଇଁ। ଏହି ବର୍ଷ our honorable vice chancellor will declare now about the beginning of the Gangadhar Meher lecture series. So I request our honorable vice chancellor sir of the Gangadhar Meher lecture series, with the first lecture being delivered by
Is another attempt about the journal plus the Gangadhar Meher Memorial Lectures we are initiating, and thus we are going to publish these lectures. The lecture itself, we will collect the script and publish it and distribute among the people. So let us hope this tradition will be strengthened in future, and I'm very happy that a man as eminent as Sri Harprasad Das is starting this series. I look forward to this, and all the people, elders, everybody of this historic institution will bless this. Thank you. Thank you very much.
now I request our registrar Srimati Jogleshwari Das ma'am to introduce our chief guest, chief speaker Sri Haraprasad Das sir. Madam.
ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ନମସ୍କାର। ଆଜି ଏକ ପବିତ୍ର ଦିନ, ପବିତ୍ର ରାକ୍ଷୀ ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣିମା, ସ୍ୱଭାବ କବି ଗଙ୍ଗାଧର ମେହେରଙ୍କ ଜନ୍ମ ଜୟନ୍ତୀ। प्रभु बलभद्रंकर जन्मदिन मध्य एही अवसर रे मु उपस्थित समस्त को शुभेच्छा जनाऊँगी। Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor N. Nagaraju, the Chief Speaker of this auspicious day, Sri Haraprasad Das, respected alumni of this institution, esteemed faculties, students, guests, and dignitaries connected through this blended mode, and friends from print media, electronics media, and above all, students. I welcome all of you to this August gathering on the occasion of the birthday celebration of legendary poet Swabhav Kavi Gangadhar Meher. The famous writer Gopinath Mahanti once commented for Swabhav Kavi Gangadhar Meher that if Odia language is a living tradition and if you put your ears close to your chest, the heartbeat will reflect the vibration of Gangadhar Meher poetry. His poetry is immortal. A span of 100 years or 1,000 years is nothing. He has remained immersed in the man's eternal consciousness. Swabhav Kavi is a bright star in the galaxy of the world literature. His formal education was up to class 5th, but literary creations are part of schools and universities curriculum, study materials for postgraduate students, and research subject for the students of Oriya literature. Several generations have grown up reading these lyrical poems. His poems includes Kichakabadha, Pranaya Vallari, Arghya Thali, Utkala Lakshmi, Indumati, Rasa Ratnakara are literary gems culminating in Tapaswini. His masterpiece made him a household name in Odisha. Today we are having with us Sri Haraprasad Das sir, the Chief Speaker of this occasion. It gives me immense pleasure and honor to introduce Sri Das, who will give his lecture on Goddess Woman, Lifting the Veil, a reading of Tapaswini, Devi Nari, Antarveda, Antarala, Tapaswini Eka Punarpatha. The topic itself is relevant, interesting, and thought-provoking. Sri Das is a poet, essayist, and columnist. His literary achievements are huge, just like the voluminous books that flow from his pen. He has more than 13 works of poetry, 4 collections of prose, numerous number of translations, and number of pieces of fiction to his credit. He is also giving final touches to few books expected to be out by this year end. His literary career spanning over 4 decades. He has been in the front runner while reviving the scale and tenor of Oriya literary tradition that goes back to 1,000 years. What fetches him numbers of awards and recognition, including Kalinga Award, Murti Devi Award, Odisha Sahitya Academy Award, Kendra Sahitya Academy Award, Sarala Award, Gangadhar Meher National Poetry Award, and Bharatiya Bhasha Parishad Award, and many more. Sir, we are really privileged to hear from you, and thank you, sir, for giving your valuable consent on this much relevant topic, and this will definitely be helpful to our teachers, students, and everyone associated with this program. Once again, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Madam, as our Honorable Vice Chancellor announced, we are starting the Gangadhar Meher Memorial Lecture Series. And now I request our Chief Guest and Chief Speaker, Sri Haraprasad Das sir, to deliver the first lecture of the series. Before that, I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor to present the plant, auspicious plant, to our Chief Speaker and Chief Guest.
Please accept on behalf of GM University this humble gift.
Now I request sir to start the lecture. Thank you, sir.
Professor Nagaraju, distinguished audience, and distinguished listeners to this program online. Ladies and gentlemen, I pay my obeisance at the feet of Swabhav Kavi Gangadhar Meher, and let me admit that calling me to deliver the first memorial lecture has been a surprise and a great honor indeed you have done to me. I am not a scholar. My formal subject of learning was political science and international law. I spent almost half a century serving the government of India as a civil servant, worked in a field which is far away from the academic field and from the esoteric and aesthetic considerations with which normally speakers speak on a poet like Gangadhar Meher. But I have one common thing with you, that all of us are very passionate readers of Gangadhar Meher. If I have one distinction to be with you today, it is to talk to you as a fellow reader and not as a scholar. Ladies and gentlemen, there are very few texts in the 1,000-year history of Odia literature which have survived the ravages of time. In fact, master texts have wilted, have withered away, and very few have lasted. And Tapaswini of Gangadhar Meher is one text which lasts. What is the reason why I have been particularly fascinated by Tapaswini, and why is it that I have been reading and rereading this text over the years? Firstly, I think this is one text where divinity is countered by valorizing human suffering. Very rarely you will find a text in world literature where things happen the way they happen in Tapaswini. I would come to that later. The second reason why this text has survived the ravages of time is that it brings into focus the return of the opposite to the destiny of man. The destiny of man had been compromised by the ravages of fate, and here is a poetry where nature fights with destiny on behalf of man. I think it's very rare to see. Thirdly, Tapaswini is a layered text. Very few readers would care to really unveil the layers of complexity in Tapaswini. Many of you would have, of course, noticed that Tapaswini is a very, very condensed text. If you elaborate Tapaswini, perhaps it will be as big as the original Ramayana of Valmiki. In fact, it is a Ramayana, but had Gangadhar got the opportunity of having his way, he would have perhaps named it Sitayam, because it is Sita all the way in Tapaswini. And where Rama stands vis-a-vis Sita is a subject matter we will discuss a little later. And having said that, I must tell you the most important background of Gangadhar when I come to a complex text like Tapaswini. Gangadhar was writing in a very difficult time. He was writing at a point of time when Sambalpur, the place where he was a culturally contested space, and India was not free. He was aware that he was serving masters who were not his own. He was aware that he was writing about Rama, who was the principal deity of worship in India, particularly in northern India, and Sambalpur, due to its relationship with Madhya Bharat, had imbibed a lot of Rama culture also. While writing about Rama, he started with a small piece, left it incomplete. He started translating Ramcharitmanas, he left it incomplete. As a matter of fact, he was not happy at all writing the Rama Kapila. His mind was elsewhere. His mind was in Sita, the woman, the divinity, and how exactly the goddess Sita and the woman Sita have been dealt with in Tapaswini is a matter of semiotic, people say. This is where I had given the initial title that we would be unveiling the semiotics of Tapaswini. Semiotic is nothing big. It's actually a concept by which you read poetry by the signals it's in. Professor Nagaraju, in his introductory speech, did mention about a few key words in Tapaswini. As a matter of fact, if we understand Tapaswini through these key words, through these signals, I'm afraid we would not be reaching anywhere. It would be a scholarly work, but Tapaswini would be missed. In other words, what I'm trying to propose to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that it is not the persistence or endurance of images, symbols, signals that poetry survives. Poetry survives by the evanescence of these signals. When none of these signals exist and yet a feeling, an impression remains in you, you know that you have read it. And Tapaswini is one of those texts which have stayed in me, not because of the symbols, not because of the images, but because my soul has been stirred by this great. And I thought this should be the subject of the first memorial lecture which I delivered to you today. In the process of that, I thought I should remind you about the time of Gangadhar. Having said that, I must come to the essential quality of Gangadhar Meher as a writer. I would not take you to the main text. I'll just give you two simple examples. Many of you would have noticed that Gangadhar has a work called Krusaka Sangit. Imagine the master poet writing about Kandamuri Chasa, Mungfali Chasa, writing about what the cultivators should do in the field in verse form. Why did he do that? Did he do it because the king of Bodasambhar asked him to do it? No. There was an element in Gangadhar which invariably always tried to connect to the ground, to the Bhumi. He was connecting himself to the Bhumi by writing about agriculture. He was not particularly keen about writing the thematic presentation of agriculture. He was writing basically to give the cultivator a song which could be free of the usual vulgar or obscene connotations which were associated with traditional cultivators. He has written so in the preface to Krusaka Sangit. This speaks of the man's connection with earth. Here is an earthy point. Secondly, many of you might have noticed a small piece amongst Gangadhar's writing. Eki Prithivira Sabda, Ghurnanara Sabda. He was wondering, getting up at midnight. जो झिंकारीर शब्द आम शुणु साई साई शब्द ए साई साई शब्द कौन पृथ्वी तार निज अक्षरदंडरे घुरिबार शब्द पचारुचंदी जने विज्ञ लोक को ये शब्द कौन ये शब्द कौन पृथ्वीर घूर्णन शब्द विज्ञ व्यक्ति कहते जे एटा अनुमान हो पारे किंतु सत्य नहीं गंगाधर दुईटी कथा कहते अनुमान जदि अधिक लोक हृदय स्पर्श करे ताले अनुमान मध्य सत्य भाव ग्रहण यार इम्पैक्ट यार प्रभाव कविता पर कौन पड़ा से परवर्ती काल देखा किंतु मुझे दुईटी कथा आपण जनईदेली टू एग्जांपल्स ऑफ कृषक संगीत एंड he is wondering about the sound of the earth moving around its own axis. because I wanted to tell you what a different poetry was of his time. You can straight away compare him with Radhanath. What kind of modernity Radhanath had and what kind of modernity Gangadhar had. Radhanath was highly educated, compared according to the standard of that time, he was very highly educated. Gangadhar, as was mentioned by the registrar in the introductory, he was studied up to class 5. Then what was the difference? What kind of modernity seeped into Gangadhar which was not there in Radhanath? Look at Radhanath's poetry. It's absolutely almost a transplantation. He was writing poetry, imbibing the Victorian and the Romantic age into his poetry. A lot of episodes were created, a lot of poetry was created. Apart from Chilika, the other poetry has been influenced by a number of classics of the era. Here is Gangadhar, who never left Sanskrit. He was definitely well versed in Sanskrit because he has read all the epics. But what is that modern element in Gangadhar? Gangadhar's modern element is the way he thought about life. For instance, if a man thinks that man is the ruler of his own destiny, not a victim of his destiny, if a man thinks he has a symbiotic relationship with nature, then I would say he is modern. You'll see in Gangadhar's uses of the way he expresses himself. In Tapaswini, he suddenly uses a word called phonograph, through the phonography. Now, that he was daring because he was not perhaps allowed to have a free hand in writing poetry. Also, had he been given a free hand, had he got the encouragement that was due to him, perhaps he would have written the kind of poetry which would have remained as the standard status of modernity. The credit for ushering in modern poetry into Odisha goes straight away to Bhima Bhoi, again a person who is from the western Odisha. He is the beginner of modernity in Odia poetry. And Gangadhar's poetry brought the Sanskrit, the classical tradition, into contemporary. And Tapaswini is the masterpiece to which contemporary thought has been brought into our consideration, and maybe we have not attended to Tapaswini as much as we should have. Having said that, we must accept the humility of the poet when he says, in Arghathali preface, he says, More Hudaya Nibida. Am I audible? Am I audible, sir? More Hudaya Nibida Aranya Tulya. Kintu prasasta nuhe Shudra. ତହିଁର ଅଭ୍ୟନ୍ତରକୁ ସଭ୍ୟତା ଆଲୋକ ପ୍ରବିଷ୍ଟ ହୋଇପାରି ନାହିଁ। ତେବେ ସମଗ୍ର ଧରଣୀରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆଲୋକ ବିକୀର୍ଣ୍ଣ ହେଉଅଛି, ଅରଣ୍ୟର ଉପରି ଭାଗ ଆଲୋକିତ ହେବା ସ୍ୱାଭାବିକ। ରନ୍ଧ୍ର ପଥରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅଭ୍ୟନ୍ତରକୁ ଆଲୋକର ପ୍ରବେଶ ଅବାରଣୀୟ। ରନ୍ଧ୍ର ପଥରେ ଆଲୋକର ପ୍ରବେଶ ଯୋଉ କଥା କହିଲେ ଗଙ୍ଗାଧର, ସେଇ କଥାଟି ହେଉଛି ତାଙ୍କର କବିତ୍ୱର ଦୁଇଟି ସ୍ତରର ସୂଚନା। ଉପର ସ୍ତରରେ ତଥାକଥିତ ସଭ୍ୟତାର ଆଲୋକ ଏବଂ ତଳ ସ୍ତରରେ ସେ ପାଉଛନ୍ତି କ୍ଷୀଣ ଆଲୋକ, ଯୋଉଟା ଅରଣ୍ୟ ଭେଦ।
नंबर घंटा 14-15 लेकिन इटा मोर क्लास नुहे सेटा अलगा हम मन कर कहां कलेक्टर मन करे। अच्छा
डिस्टर्बेंस होची मझिरे। am I audible to you, sir? कोनी मझिरे गोटे कोन प्रवेश करिए की what is it?
Some people.
Is it okay now? Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay.
But
No
the host should mute everyone.
Yes, somebody has come online. So the double layer in Gangadhar, the question that is most important is whether the lighting of the top of the forest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Lighting of the top of the forest is poetic knowledge, poetic information, poetic inspiration, poetic vision, or the light that filters through the top and reaches the bottom, poetry. I think Gangadhar believes that the little light that comes through the filtered through the forest is the poetry he is writing, and that in fact is poetry. Therefore, The semiotics or understanding Gangadhar's tapasya through a system of signals is perhaps misplaced because what he receives at the bottom end is not exactly decipherable by the system of signals. Now, I had said in the beginning, in the text itself, the title of the speech itself, that I would be taking you through the unveiling of the identity of goddess and women in poetry. Now, how did Gangadhar receive the idea of a woman? His idea of a woman was basic, grounded. It was not the idea of, let's say, Badana poetry, Romal Kanire, Darbar dance, Koile, Bhadrolokung Bisare, Seburi, Bhadramodang Bisramuntabos. He's not talking about that at all. The woman the Gangadhar talks about is the eternal woman. Now, how is it veiled in the person? I have noticed 6 veils in the person. By looking at the language, by reading the text, you get one particular sense, but that sense is countered elsewhere. In other words, if you read hermeneutically the entire content, linking the symbols and taking the entire perspective, you get a different impression than what you got by reading superficially. So the first level, Tapaswini, is it a song of Sita? That's the first level that we must deal with. The obvious signals are that it is the song of Sita. The Kavya, as the long poem, deals with the phase of life of Sita as an inmate of Valmiki ashram. But Tapaswini is not confined to Sita. The story of the entire epic Ramayana is there. As I told you before, had the Sohab Kavi got the opportunity, he would have placed it as a counter to Ramacharita. This could have been Sita Charitamana. Now the story of the entire epic of Ramayana is there, and Ramayana from Sita's point of view is what Tapaswini is. That being the case, Gangadhar's obvious signal has to be lifted to see that Ramayana truly is not the story of Rama but of Sita. It could as well be Sitayan, and why? Because Sita of Ramayana, who is Tapaswini by Gangadhar, has the epic aura which Rama doesn't have, surprisingly. Is it not a surprise for all that Tapaswini doesn't show Rama in the same light as he shows Sita? I will come to that straight away. An analysis of Sita of Ramayana would show that she is a multitude of persons, a multitude of women playing various roles. The Sita of Valmiki and the Sita of Gangadhar. Now both taken together, even Tulsidas Sita can be added, though Sita has not been treated the way Gangadhar has treated Sita, but the content-wise, Sita's character in Ramayana Patha would be like this. Firstly, she is born an orphan, Anathini. Secondly, she is Parita, Prathame Anathini, for a Parita, she is adopted by Janaka. Thirdly, she is Swayambara, she marries by choosing her husband. Fourth, she is Sahagamini, she goes with Rama when Rama goes to the forest. Then she is Vanavasini, she lives in Chitrakoot and becomes a part of Rama's exile. She is Apahruta, she is abducted. She is a Bandini, imprisoned in Ashoka Vatika. She is Kalankita. And she is Rajarani too. She is Abhijukta, she is accused, she is abandoned, she is Visarjita. She is also Tapaswini, and she is Sati, finally, who emerges from the ordeal of fire. This is all about Sita. Now compare it with Rama. In all these Rama epics, Rama Kathas, I am not taking into account some of the Rama Kathas written in certain parts of India and abroad, where Rama has been valorized in a completely different way. The Rama Kathas that we know, starting from Valmiki to Tulsidas to other authors in other parts of India, He is a Satyarakshaka, he is born a Rajaputra. He is a Vanavasi, Satya Raksha Kariba Pai Vanavasi. He is a winner, he is Purusottama, he is Avatari. In other words, destiny, the poet himself, and everything around the world is with him. He is not alone, not on his own. Compare this with Sita. Ill-treated, abandoned, orphan, tragic character. As a matter of fact, there is no character comparable to Sita in the whole of world. Sita is something phenomenal and the only poet in the world who has done justice to Sita. Not even Bharati. It is Gangadhar Mehar. And we have to say this. We have to say this emphatically, that here is a poet who has done justice to Sita's character. The story of Ramayana rests on the perfection of the divine persona, not on the maligned daughter of the earth. Ladies and gentlemen, Sita is the maligned daughter of the earth. And here is Rama, who is a divine person. And divine persona is ultimately triumphing as the hero of Ramayana. As a matter of fact, if you look at Ramayana, it is a hero-less text. If there is any heroine without a hero, it is Sita. And Tapaswini is exactly that. The first signal to be breached, and Sita emerges as the central character of Ramayana. That is the statement of Tapaswini, which is revealed, which is reached after the signal vanishes on breaching. Or could we say, the veil no more exists in the face of Sita. It is not a hero who dominates Ramayana, but a continuously suffering woman who dominates Ramayana. Sita is not the Naika of Ramayana. She is the inner soul of Ramayana. Now, very rarely you come across the epic of that time, medieval times, even the early modern times, where in an epic, the entire center of the burden, gravity, is on a woman character. Gangadhar Mehar was writing in a contested space, I told you, where religion and human practices, normal social practices, imperialist democracy and the creative democracy which these poets were practicing were differently positioned. And therefore, the veil could not be lifted, and we must lift the veil now. So the first veil that we lifted is that Tapaswini is the only epic poem where Sita, a woman suffering with her continuously, is the central, the soul of the text, not exactly the heroine, because it is heroic. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the second veil now. Is Sita a goddess or a woman? That's the question with which the subject matter began. Now, Gangadhar persistently veils Sita's divinity by foregrounding the woman. How is the woman foregrounded? And the deification takes the backstage. How does it happen? Just listen to me. A few lines I would quote from Gangadhar. Chintai deuchi basaku taro nayana bari, devi ki manabi sahaje heu nahi to bari. ଆଶ୍ରମର କୁମାରୀମାନେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସୀତାଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖିଛନ୍ତି, ଆବାଣ୍ଡନ୍ ସୀତା ଭାଗୀରଥୀ କୂଳରେ, ସେତେବେଳେ ପ୍ରଥମେ କହିଛନ୍ତି ଦେବୀ ନା ମାନବୀ ଜାଣି ହଉନି। ଏଇଟା ହଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଭେଲିଂ ଦି କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟର। ତାପରେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ, ଚକିତ ଚିତ୍ତରେ କେଭା ବିଲା ଏତ ବିଚିତ୍ର କଥା, ଏବନେ ଏଭଳି ମାନବୀ ଅସମ୍ଭବ ସର୍ବଥା, ସ୍ୱର୍ଗପୁରୁ କେଉଁ ଦେବୀ କି ସଦ୍ୟ ସାପର ଫଳେ ସ୍ୱଦେହରେ ଖସି ପଡ଼ିଛି ଆସି ଅବନୀ ତଳେ। Could it be a cursed goddess who fell from the heaven on the earth? Is it a woman or a goddess? Could it be a goddess who has fallen? Or Jaya Lakshmi Rupe Kahanti Karanti Santi Puruku Vije Asanti Sagara Utthita Rama Ramani Nije. Now the last line is a signal which is very critical. Here Jaya Lakshmi. How could the most abandoned, the most ill-treated woman be the Jayalakshmi. That in fact is a trick. The trick which is played in the describing Tapaswini and the whole range of images associated with her. She is Jayalakshmi. Is he Jayalakshmi? She is not a Radharani anymore. How is she Jayalakshmi? She is a Jayalakshmi because nature, the Muni Kumaris, and those who are not concerned with royalty or divinity at all are taking her in a procession to the ashram as the Jayalakshmi Shastra. She is treated as Jayalakshmi and therefore she is Jayalakshmi. She is not born a Jayalakshmi. पुरुषोत्तम राजत्व करचंती से अछंती तांका जगह अधिष्ठित अवतारी ये होचंती the woman wronged who is being treated like a queen by nature itself. Now a suffering woman radiating the glory of pain, loneliness, shame, ill treatment, abandonment and slander becomes the baby. So when you ask me whether Gangadhar Tapaswini is a woman with a baby, the signals are that she is not a baby, she is a woman suffering. But behind the veil is a baby because she is a baby, because the whole world treats her as a baby and not the Rama. Avatar of Rama treats her as a baby, connecting her to Lakshmi. But Gangadhar knows that had she got the powers of Lakshmi or a divinity, she herself would have taken care of her. She has not been able to take care of herself. She has not been able to slay the demon herself. There is a Ramayana where Sita kills Ravana. That also has been imagined by some. But the Sita of Tapaswini did not kill Ravana. She allowed herself to be abducted because she proved to be quite helpless as a woman, the way normally women were in the time of Gangadhar, and they continue to perhaps remain even now. Now nature becomes the protector of women. When a divine persona, the best of men, Purushottam Rama, abandons her to protect his own honor, the woman has to bear the burden of that. And that is the most significant point that we have to note here. What grants divinity to Sita is not a heavenly order or a heavenly dispensation or the imagination of a poet. What grants divinity to Sita is the way the earth relates itself to its own daughter. After all, Sita was the daughter of the earth. By saying daughter of the earth, what exactly is meant? What is meant is that she is a part of the ecosphere which created takes care of her. Divinity is outside the purview. Gangadhar sees to it that divinity doesn't enter the consideration of the poetic persona of Sita. So, she becomes a goddess because that is the way the earth, the nature, and those around her think she is, not because the poet thinks she is, not because she is Rama's wife. In other words, the autonomy of a woman's divinity is established not to the husband, but by her own self. The third veil which has to be taken off is the nature of Sita's suffering. What was the kind of suffering Sita went through? Sita's suffering is not the suffering of a single woman. She becomes the symbol of suffering of womankind as a whole. It is not the suffering of a single woman. If you look at Sita's character, the kind of phases of life she has gone through, if a real woman, a single woman, goes through all that, she would have the strength to bear it. Sita bears it because Sita is not only a woman, she is the woman. She represents womanhood. Now, listen to a few lines from Gangadhar. Sakhi boile, sakhi bujili muhi, yemanto thila asa mala kitai. Gote jagare Sita कहउछन्ती ये मोर आशा सब मरिगला. सखी पचाउछन्ती आशा काहे मरिगला. तोपरी साधी पाए दारुण व्यथा ननिंदु विधि एक विचित्र कथा. तू विधि को निंदा करूनु ये कष्ट सहूचु ये तो आश्चर्य कथा ना साधारणतः आमको कष्ट हेले आम विधि को ही दोष दो किंतु दिस इज सेइंग that despite all this suffering you never think of accusing destiny. Boile sati, what does Sita say? Sita says boile sati moro dukho kahani shuni sajani sabu jibutu jani जेमंते आमंत्रिली घोर कषण सेमंते आसारम हेला मर. The way I invited all these tribulations into my life, that way all my hopes were dashed. In other words, he invited all the troubles unto herself. Now, this is a very, very significant word which is normally doesn't attract the attention of the critics. She has invited the trouble. How? She invited trouble when she said, I would accompany the husband. She invited trouble when she sent Lakshmana looking for Rama for that Maricha, the golden deer. She invited trouble when she tried to be 100% totally devoted to a man who considered royalty to be more important than his husbanding a woman. So royalty administering the state was more important. It was not important for him to take care of a woman and understand what she is trying to say. So hope died when I invited suffering for myself. Did Sita invite suffering upon herself? The expression is significant. Beneath the obvious, there is a statement that Sita could have avoided suffering had she put her foot down. She could have done that when she was ordered to prove her purity. The most significant point in the drama is when she is asked to prove her purity after Lanka Vijay of Ramchandra. What Rama tells her, I would come to that quote later, it will rend your heart. Amazing kind of an expression Gangadhar has found out to show Sita and Rama in contradistinction to each other. She could have also avoided had she, when she was abandoned. You know, she was, it's very, very interesting really, that in Tapaswini, Gangadhar takes the story from Bharavi actually. What is the circumstance in which Sita is abandoned? Sita could not know. Sita was taken by surprise. It was an ambush. Should Purushottam do this? You know what Gangadhar said? He said, the voice of Sita, that Sita was pregnant. So it is said that a pregnant woman's wishes are all granted. So Rama was looking after her. Whatever wishes she had were fulfilled. But once, in a particular night, Sita said, I have a great desire to go and play with my tree friends in the forest. My tree friends. She had a number of friends in the tree, in the forest, because she had lived in the forest. So in Chitrakoot, in Dandakaranya, she had trees which she had identified by name. She wanted to play with them. That was a wish of a pregnant woman, a pregnant wife. And she is making this request to Purushottam Rama, the king of Ajodhya. Rama said yes. And you know what he does? He calls Lakshmana and tells him that take her to the forest. And perhaps secretly gives an instruction that not only take her and abandon her there. Can you believe this? This cruelty you see in Gangadhar Tapaswini as a cause, and he has picked it up rightly from Bharavi. Bharavi found out the cause, how it all happened. So Sita says in Tapaswini that my brother-in-law Lakshmana brought me to this bank of Bhagirathi, left me here, and what he told in my ears amazed me completely. What Lakshmana would have told in Sita's ears has not been written by Gangadhar because he could not write. Reading it, generations of people would have perhaps suffered from a feeling that the divinity of Rama was at the expense of a woman, a hapless woman, a victim. Perhaps Lakshmana told Sita that you have been abandoned. I have brought you here not for play, but you are here forever. Do whatever you want to say, because you are not to be taken back. But she accepted the destiny without protest, even though she was duped. She was not given the full fact. Even then she accepted. But look at the brilliant signals that are contained in the first verse. I'll read it out for you. Mukhi chara heu tumbha prakriti ranjana. Eta Sita Kauchanti as a justification for Rama having abandoned her. Please listen to it carefully. Whether it means what it says or there is something else. It's something to be discovered by you and me together as readers. Mukhi chara heu tumbha prakriti ranjana. Mu mare tumbhara heu karanka bhanjana. Ethiru janmibo jeu akshar kirati hude rakha gati tar alaya murati. आउरे पढ़ दूची मुखी छार हेउ तुम्भ प्रकृति रंजन मु मरे तुम्भर हेउ कलंक भंजन एथिरु जन्मिब जे अक्षर किरति हृदय रख गढ़ी तार अलय मुरति. From my abandonment, whatever slur was there to your personality, that is wiped out. Then please construct an image out of this and keep it indestructible in your heart. Does this mean what it says? It is total condemnation of Ram. Complete common condemnation. But it doesn't show that. It shows as if Sita is providing a justice. Listen again. Kirti anurodhe sina kolo mate tyaga e tumharo upajukta karya mahabhaga. Kirti anurodhe sina kolo mate tyaga ए तुम्हारो उपयुक्त कार्य महाभाग यही कीर्ति पताकारे पापिनीर चित्र रहीजिव यह किंतु विषम विचित्र. Please listen to this line. What powerful evanescence of images. Apparently it looks as if Sita is saying that you did right, but your kirti pataka, the flag of your trump, what should we say, divinity or godhood or greatness, whatever will be there, Papini's picture would be there. In other words, your hands would have blood on them. And if that is going to be okay, perfectly all right, you did right in abandoning. This is what. So, Ramachandranko Kirti Patakare Papini Sitanko Chitra Rahijivo, Puli Javan Pauchanti Gangadhar Mayor Sitanko Surade. सीता एठी निजको छोट करछंती निजको बड़ करछंती ना रामचंद्रंगर व्यक्तित्व को चरित्र को चरित्रांत करछंती खोली की किछ कुआ जाउ नै कि अंतराल रे ई कथा नै. So the veil is, the signal is that the Sita is justifying Rama's action, but you see, she is in fact reducing Rama to the level of a sinner, a man who could abandon his wife to protect his reputation and honor on this lie without warning her, taking her by surprise. She has accepted her destiny, saying that Rama was right and she was wrong. Was she wrong? She was not wrong. If you read Tapaswini, you get the impression, get the feeling, get the conclusion that she was not wrong. It was Rama who was. But if this is breached, this layer that is breached, you find a furious Sita, wronged Sita, humiliated Sita, tearing Rama's virtual image to shreds. And the semantic ploy really works. The semantic ploy employed by Gangadhar works magnificently. You really get convinced that what he did, what he wrote, was right considering Sita's position. The fourth veil, which I wish to unveil, is Sita goddess in Gangadhar's Tapaswini? We have dealt with goddess or woman. Now is Sita a goddess? The signals show The Sita as a woman, a wife abandoned, a mother who gives birth to her children in a hermitage. But the signals are breached by the way she is treated by nature. This I have dealt with earlier. But we read the most brilliant section in Tapaswini is where Sita is defended by nature. I have not given you the quote at that point of time. I have reserved it until now, and I must read it out to you. When Sita is abandoned on the bank of Bhagirathi, and Sita is suffering at that moment, see what happens. And this is unparalleled in world poetry. You would not find this level of artistry anywhere else. I'm reading it slowly. Please listen. हानाथ उच्चारी देवी व्याकुले कोमले अवसरे बसु बसु वसुंधरा तले संज्ञा विरहित होई पड़िले उत्ताने नथिले धरिबा पई केही सन्निधाने शत शत सेविका जा सेबुथिले पद जणे न देखिले तांको दारुण आपद अहो नियतिर ही भयंकर रीति देखिले कहार हृदय न आसिब भीति ता चाहि ताकू देखी से अवस्था देखी कौन हैला ता चाहि विहंग मुखे कांदिला से बन पक्षीर स्वर रे बन कांदिला आरंभ कला बहिला निश्वास रूपे प्रखर पवन पवन हैला प्रखर निश्वास शुभिला निश्वास रूपे सरसर स्वर शुभिला निश्वास रूपे सरसर स्वर कारुण्य लहरी प्राय चलिले पतर पवन रे पत्र गुड़ा उड़ी जाउछते ताको कहते कारुण्य लहरी ये हैला फर्स्ट रिएक्शन ऑफ नेचर इज टू वीप फॉर सीता. Then what? Then note this. କରିବାକୁ ନିୟତିର ସହିତ ସମର ତୃଣରାଜ ଖଡ୍ଗ କରେ ଗର୍ଜିଲା ପ୍ରଖର ବାୟାବସା ତୁଣିରକୁ ଝାଡ଼ି ବାରମ୍ବାର ପତ୍ର କଙ୍କ ପତ୍ର କଲା କିଅ ବା ବାହାର କମ୍ପିତ ସହିତ ବିକି ଉତ୍ଥିତ ଶିଖର ପଡ଼ିଲା ଫୁଲିନେ ତେଜି ଉତ୍ତଙ୍ଗ ତରଙ୍ଗ ଶିଖର ହେରିକି ସିସାର ଗୁଳି तरंगर तोपे नियति की भागीरथी प्रहारिला कोपे कमल सकल होई विकसित करे पद्म विह रति युद्ध कले अळी सरे वन फुले वृद्ध की दुख तले पड़ी धूली माखी मल्ल युद्धे हेले मा प्रकृति जहाँ उपादान अच्छे इट कुड बी ए लीफ इट कुड बी ए बायोमास. It could be wind, it could be all the Panchabhutas which are in operation. Each one of them is now fighting with whom? Fighting with the destiny. Sitankara is Dasa Kainja. So the fight between destiny and nature is absolutely unparalleled. This has not perhaps happened in any other epic to the best of my knowledge. I know very learned persons are listening to me.
Hello.
The war between nature and the destiny is fought for a woman or it is fought for a goddess. This is where nature gives out the clue. Nature gives out the clue that this is for a woman, a wrong woman, not for a triumphant goddess, because the goddess should be in a position to take care of herself. So, as I told you earlier, Sita is a goddess because nature and the human beings who are around her believe she is one because of her suffering has deified her and not the divinity bestowed upon her. No one has bestowed divinity upon her. She is the wrong woman. Her suffering has made her that. Now look at the second point to be noted. Look at the visitors who come to visit her. How she becomes actually a goddess. The first one to visit is Chitrakoot forest. Chitrakoot forest comes to visit her in ashram. The second one is river Mahanadi. Third visitor is river Godavari. Godavari, Mahanadi, whom greatness is given by men, by nature, by earth. And this is the thesis which emerges from breaching the veil in Gangadhar's poetic devices that he has sent. So Sita is a woman and she is an incarnation of nature. That is how she becomes a goddess. She is not Lakshmi, but she is Prakriti Lakshmi. ସେ ପ୍ରକୃତି ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ତାଙ୍କୁ ରାଜଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ଦେଖା କରିବାକୁ ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ବନଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ କଥା ହେଇଛନ୍ତି ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତପସ୍ୱୀରେ ସବୁ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ଆସି ପ୍ରଣାମ କରି ଯାଇଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କୁ ସେମାନେ କୋଉ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ସେମାନେ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ନୁହନ୍ତି ଶାସ୍ତ୍ରର ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ନୁହନ୍ତି ଧର୍ମଶାସ୍ତ୍ରର ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ନୁହନ୍ତି ଆମ ବିଶ୍ୱାସର ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ନୁହନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ହଉଛନ୍ତି ପ୍ରକୃତିର ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ମ୍ୟାନିଫେଷ୍ଟେସନ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀ ମିନ୍ସ the bounties of nature which are manifested through the persona of Manolakshmi, persona of even Tamasa river, Tamasa Nadi, Manolakshmi, Rajalakshmi, Ajodhyaru Ashtanti देखा करें, Rajalakshmi और चिट्ठी लिखी पड़ी है, चिट्ठी लिखी पड़ी, तो यही बड़ी उपाय है, यही भेल पछरे, मुझे लक्ष्मी रो उदय होती, जो लक्ष्मी हमारा जनासना लक्ष्मी ठाकुराणी नुहंती, ये होती है प्रकृति लक्ष्मी ये लक्ष्मी परिकल्पना गंगाधर पंचम भेल जोटा हूँ वोमनहुड भेल से गोटे भेल अच्छे दि रामायण सीता इन रामायण सीता स्पीक्स थ्राइस वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग वाल्मीकि रामायण में सीता केतबेले कथा करते आई वाज वेरी क्यूरियस टू नो वाल्मीकि रामायण सीता का वक्तव्य कौन सीता बिकम्स द मोस्ट डोमिनेंट कैरेक्टर विदाउट स्पीच केते थर कहते कथा गोटे थर से कथा कहले चित्रकूट राम को गोटे गप शुणी द्वितीय थर कथा कहले रावण को से छद्म आसला तृतीय थर कथा कहले हनुमान सागर बेसी कथा कह तेणु ये जो अल्प कथा कहूथिबा सीता ये तपस्वी में बहुत कथा कह आज इफ Gangadhar wanted to compare for the last in the part of Valmiki and Tulsidas. Sita को स्वर देने से सीता को स्वर दे चुकी Gangadhar. In Ramcharitmanas and in Uttara Ramcharita Bhavavati also a similar thing happened. So Sita has no voice. Although Bhavavati is sympathetic to Sita, but Sita को voice दे पाने में कारण वो भावुति honestly I believe that nobody could go against the current of the time. Even now, it would be difficult. Rama, Sita in combination is perfectly okay. We worship Rama and Sita. But to deify Sita at the expense of Rama is virtually impossible. In Gangadhar's time, even 8th century Bhagavati, his time, situation was very different. They could not do it. But Bhagavati had an idea that Sita deserves more, better. But Gangadhar executed it. So that way, I have seen within the limited resources and time that I have, about 12 versions of Sita and Rama in India, including a few international versions, Thai Ramayana and all that. In none of them, you will find the Sita whom you will find in Gangadhar. Tapasya. Now this is the woman, and the excellence of that womanhood is also veiled. And I would unveil it by giving me a comparison. The comparison between what Rama says and what Sita tells about things about Rama. Rama is saying immediately after Lanka Vijay, when they are about to celebrate, the first thing was that Sita should rejoin Rama. But when she is about to rejoin, Rama says, Tapare Raghupati Mote Onai. It was Sita quoted. Suppose Sita goes so Sita quoted. तापरे रघुपति मते अणाई बोले डाक सीता को डाक बोले स्नेह शून्य नेत्रे अणाई आखिरे स्नेह नहीं कहते कुसंगु बड़ी नहीं जगते पाप कुसंगी संगे मिले घोर संताप कामांध दानवर पाप भवने थिलु थिलु परसी थिब पाप तो मने नपारे करी आउ तते ग्रहण ग्रहण कले हेब लोक गर्भाण जलद जल करे नीचे गमन आउ कि ताकू रखी पारई घन अनल शिखा परी अनले दही हेले से जल तते हम ग्रहण करि पारिबे नै कारण तू पाप संगरे रहिलु पाप संगरे सीता रहिले केबे से तो अशोक वन में बंद थे तुम्हें तो भगवान तुम्हें जानी पार ना से पाप संगे रहिले कि नहीं बोली पाप संगे पाप तुझे को ना को ऊपर निश्चय स्पर्श कर ये हूँ राम को चिंता राम तक कहते तो तुम ग्रहण कर पारे कहते जो स्त्री लोकटी तार समग्र जीवन अर्पण कर से रघुपति से रघुपति कहते तो तुम ग्रहण कर पारे कारण तू कुसंगे चल कौन ना कौन उपाय कुसंग ते स्पर्श कर तेणु कौन हम ना थे जल बिंदु पड़गला मेघ आ फेरी पारे मेघ को से केमती फेरे ताकू पुणी थर उत्तप्त कर बाष्प कर गले ही तू उपरक जाए तेणु तल को खसी पड़े तू पतित हो बर्तमान अग्नि प्रवेश कर अग्नि प्रवेश कर शुद्ध है पुणी थे जलबुद्ध हो पड़े ये राम से बेले सीता प्रस्तुत होती सीता कौन कहते गंगाधर मेहर तपस्वी शुण से कहले धर्म चिर सत्य जदि जगते मो धर्म अपवादु रखिब मते हे धर्म निज गुणे रह मो संगे न डरी अनरे कस मो संगे जीवने न पारिले मते मरणे सेविका करिदेव प्रभु चरणे मोतनु दग्ध हेले हेबत खार ताहाकु कराइब पादपे सार सेतरु काष्ठ नहीं बद्धकी हस्ते कराए देव प्रभु पादु काष्ठ ये कहते तू जलबिंदु भरी निजकू जय दे बाष्प हो शून्य को गले खसबू तल को मो पाखु ये कहते मुझे जीवन काल में मरीगला मो जो पाउचटा हम सार कर गछ दब से गछ बढ़ला से जो काठ हम ताकू दब बढ़े को से गोटे पादुका तैयारी कर से पादुका प्रभु को पाद ये हूँ कौन so who is the most dominant character much better human being as far as the epic is concerned? Rama was a much greater god, but Sita was a much greater human being. Gangadhar takes from Uttar Ramacharita the sequence of events which led Rama to send her to the forest which I mentioned to you, where Lakshmana takes her and abandons her. That portion you should also listen to really complete this particular discussion about Rama and Sita's death. दोहद पुरणमो हेले तत्पर प्राणेश स्नेह भरे अधिकतर विपिन बांधवी संगे विपिने क्रीडंती बोली कांते कहली दिने सेही रजनी सरी नोहु प्रभात लक्ष्मण संगे मते पेशिले नाथ लक्ष्मण आनी मते जाह्नवी तीरे नाबू ओह्लाई जहा कहले धीरे तू कह नाबुर ओह्लै देकी मत जहाँ कहली ये गोटे स्थिति जो कि पार्टी गोटे राम प्रति गोटे खराब बाहरी जाए से बाहर नहीं कि गंगाधर कौन छाड़ी जो मुहूर्त से कहले मत से जहाँ कहले मुझे से मुहूर्त में जानीगलु कर्स लक्ष्मी समय तो गंगाधर सोमन सीता never cursed it openly, but the character has been so placed that the readers curse the divinity for having treated the woman. So, we come to the sixth phase, the last one. Why tapasya? इस काव्यर ना तपस्विनी कौन है? ये तपस्विनी चरित्र व्यक्तित्व कौन? किसी पोर्शन पढ़ी की शुणुची संक्षेप करने दिनु सुते जननी अंक सुत माने पिला माने लवकुश जो दिनु सुते जननी अंक तेजी बिहारिले होई निशंक जो दिन तो पिला माने बड़ हो गले मार कोल छाड़देवे से दिनु जानकी तपस्या व्रत अनुष्ठान कले अनवरत से दिन सीता तपस्विनी हेले से दिनु जानकी तपस्या व्रत अनुष्ठान कले अनवरत समर्पी मन स्वामी चरणे लागिले जीवन शेष करणे निदाघ सरित स्रोत सदृश सती प्राण होई आसिला कृष असित पक्षर शशांक परी अमावास्या चंद्र असित पक्षर कृष्ण पक्षर चंद्र परी लक्ष्य कला मृत्यु अमा सर्वरी स्वामी को मणि दिनेश सम आशा कला सही सूर्य चंद्र मिलन हुए अमावास्या दिन तेणु जीवन शैली से पतला हो गले से बर्तमान तपस्या कर पिलामान तो बड़ हो गले आउ कि कर बर्तमान केवल तपस्या रही मो जीवन शेष प्रकृत में गंगाधर तपस्विनी एंड दशम स्वर्ग ही गंगाधर तपस्विनी सरीजा कथा किंतु दशम स्वर्ग जदि कवि जदि सारी था अपवाद होते या जे सीता कौन राजराणी हेले नहीं लोक तो चाहते से राजराणी हूँ फेरतु पर पाताल गमन करे से परवर्ती काल राजराणी तो ही बसिले सीता को खबर दिखाई जे राजराणी होगी बसती सुवर्ण लक्ष्मी एवं ये निजक तपस्विनी भाव में समाप्त करदे बस यही समय एकादश स्वर्ग एकादश स्वर्ग गंगाधर जोगमाया को आनिले प्रकृत में सीता गंगाधर तपस्विनी रे अयोध्या को जाइना बिल्कुल कारण गंगाधर सीता को अयोध्या को नवाई प्रस्तुत नुहति She doesn't think Ajodhya deserves Sita. She doesn't think Rama deserves Sita anymore. बर्तमान सीता जीवन चली तेणु से जोगमाया का आविष्कार कर जोगमाया योग बल सीता भविष्य देखुं कहते सीता गले अयोध्या को राम सहित बसले राजाराणी पुणी थे वंदना है ये हूँ संक्षेप षष्ठ जो भेल कथा कहते से भेलटा हूँ तपस्विनी को सीता को तपस्विनी कर गंगाधर छाड़ी प्रकृति दर्शन स्वर्ग एकादश स्वर्ग कल्पना ही अच्छी जोगमाया सो दिस इज द वे I have read Gangadhar Tapaswini, but I am reminded of something which is very extremely important for us. I talk about Gangadhar. That was the famous quote of Bharavi. Bharavi had said, "Ye nama kechit ihana tathayanti avagyam mananti te kimapi tan pratina satah yasa." Those who deride or ignore my work, let them know my efforts are not for them. There would come along someone who shares my spirit. The world is vast and time is endless. यही ना कहीं दिने आसिबो जे मो कविता बुझिबो गंगाधर तपस्विनी रे अबुझा अनेक जिनस छाड़ी जाइछन आमको बुझिबा पय एवं आमे बारंबार पढ़ी ताको अनुभव करि परिबा ता जदि हम न करू ताले गंगाधर प्रति न्याय हबो ना लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन all great poets left their earthly abode with the regret that they could not be understood in their own time. Master texts like Tapaswini would be read and reread many times more. Many more veils would be lifted as men with kindred spirits go deeper and deeper into the luminous core of the work, and the superficial word signals drop one by one. The essence of all great creation lies perhaps in the evanescence of the obvious and manifestation of its depthless spirit. My grateful thanks to all of you who listen to me, and I know it would take much more effort to present to you a much better lecture than this. As I told you, I have presented this lecture with the belief that I am one of you conversing with you and not a scholar inflicting on you a lecture. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the opportunity you have given. Thank you.
ମୁଁ ଏବେ ଅନୁରୋଧ କରୁଛି ଯୋଉମାନେ ଆମର ଚିଫ ସ୍ପିକରଙ୍କ संगे କିଛି इंटरैक्ट କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି এই टॉपिक ଉପରେ
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A human being is a highly sophisticated mechanism, and if one is in proper tune, he is capable of perceiving the whole cosmos within himself. So I want Honorable Speaker, sir, to draw a line of coherence between the Kalidas appropriated Saraswati in Shyamala Dandaka and Shankaracharya appropriated Tripura Sundari in Saundarya Lahari. So how these three epics, master words that had, he also mentioned that immanence of poetry, a line of, I would expect you to draw a line of coherence. And another question is that in addition to the element of art,
Let me answer the first question first.
sir,
Question first. Let me answer the first question. You could come to the second.
sir.
Well, there is no line of coherence amongst the three. Gangadhar Tapaswini stands apart from these texts. Saundarya Lahari is only a piece of poetry. It is not an epic poem. So there is no line of coherence between Saundarya Lahari and Tapaswini. Kalidas and Gangadhar Meher, no comparison, because Kalidas' context is different, Tapaswini's context is entirely different. Maximum relations coherence you can draw is with Bharavi and not with Kalidas. That's
Yes,
what my
sir.
limited reading is.
Okay. Sir, another that elements as to the connectivity with elements, earth element, along with earth, that there is an other elements too, water and air is connected to, and because of limitations, I suppose that that exploration
I
was
understand your point. I understand your point. Vayu, Khiti, up, Tej, Marut, Bhyamo. These are the five elements. Khiti is earth, up, water, Teja is light, Fire, Bhyamo. Khiti, up, Teja, Bhyamo. That's it. You Vayu, Prakhara, Kharaswas, Bhari, Bohila. Tamasa Nadi, Pani, Kasila. ଅରଣ୍ୟରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେ, ଅଗ୍ନିରେ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ଦେଲେ, କ୍ଷିତିର ସେ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି କନ୍ୟା, ଆଉ ଆକାଶ ହଉଛି ତାଙ୍କର ଘୋଡ଼ଣୀ। ପୃଥିବୀ ଭାଣ୍ଡମ ଗଗନ ପିଧାନମ ସୂର୍ଯ୍ୟାଗ୍ନିନ ରାତ୍ରି ଦେବାଣ୍ଡନେନ ମାସସ୍ତୁ ଦର୍ବି ପରିଘଟ୍ଟନେନ ଭୂତାନି କାଳ ପଚତି କି ବାର୍ତ୍ତା ମହାଭାରତରେ କୁହାଯାଇଛି। ତେଣୁ ପାଞ୍ଚଟା ଯାକ ଭୂତ ସେ ତାଙ୍କ ସହିତ ଅଛନ୍ତି, ଆଉ ସେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଗ୍ରାଉଣ୍ଡରେ, ଭୂମିରେ, ଯାହାର କନ୍ୟା। ଏହା ଆପଣ ଚାହୁଁଥିଲି ଜାଣିବା ପାଇଁ ପଞ୍ଚଭୂତ କିଭଳି ଭାବରେ ରିଆକ୍ଟ କରିଛନ୍ତି, ଏଲିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ନେଚର କିଭଳି ରିଆକ୍ଟ କରିଛନ୍ତି।
Yes, sir. Then you also that it should be Sita Charit Manas or Sita, In fact, there was no differentiation, actually integral approach at when immanent and at the transcendent level. So there is integrity, there is suffering of Rama in suffering of Sita, and as it is then mentioned in, I would refer Saundarya Lahari, that Shiva Saktya Jukto, instead of Rama and Sita, Shiva Saktya Jukto, Jadi Bhavati Sakta Prabhavitum, Nache Devam Devo Nakhalu Kushala Spanditum Api, Ataspam Aradhyam, Harihara Virinchadhiparapi, Pranantum Stotum Va Katham Akruta Punya Prabhavati. So the divine, when united with Shakti, endowed with the power to create, protect, and destroy the universe, otherwise he is unable to steal. So, and in fact, Sita was that she was that integration of that suffering of both Rama and Sita. They intricately and so minutely they mix. It is different. It is very difficult to differentiate Rama and Sita. These are nomenclaturally, and when
No. Yeah. Let me tell you, and the entire burden of lecture was exactly opposite of what you said. I do not think Rama and Sita are mixed in Tapaswini at all. As a matter of fact, this differentiation is the critical veil that has to be lifted. What you say makes the point even much stronger, because Rama and Sita together, just as Shiva and Shakti have been united throughout, in all the Shiva Kavyas, on Devi Kavyas, Devi Mahatmyas, whatever is written, Shiva and Shakti are inseparable. My own house is called Bhagartha because Bhag and Artha are inseparable. That is Shiva and Shakti. Shiva and Shakti have never been separated in no plan. No woman, no divinity in the world of literature has been treated the way Sita has been treated. By epic writers, by religious bodies, and even by the poets of the stature of Bhavabhuti, Tulsidas and Valmiki. None of them. That Sita Prana जो कथा कहउछथि ସେମାନେ that Sita और राम गोटे प्राण ସେଇଟାକୁ ଗଙ୍ଗାଧର ମେହେର ଏତେ ସ୍ପଷ୍ଟ ଭାବରେ କହିଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ସେମାନେ ଗୋଟିଏ ପ୍ରାଣ ନୁହନ୍ତି ସୀତା କହି ହଉଛନ୍ତି ସେ ମୋର ପ୍ରାଣ ବୋଲି ରାମ ମଧ୍ୟ ସ୍ୱପ୍ନରେ ବିଳିବିଳି ହଉଛନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ପ୍ରକୃତରେ ସୀତାଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ଘୋର ଅନ୍ୟାୟ ହେଇଛି ଏଇ କଥାଟା ଗଙ୍ଗାଧର କହିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି
Thank you, sir.
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ମୁଁ ଉତ୍ତମତା ଯାତ୍ରା କହୁଛି
ହଁ କୁହନ୍ତୁ
ପଚାରନ୍ତୁ sir, ପଚାରନ୍ତୁ।
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ମୁଁ ଉତ୍ତମତା
ପଚାରନ୍ତୁ sir, ଶୁଣା ଯାଉଛି sir।
ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ମୋର କୋଟି କୋଟି ପ୍ରଣାମ। ମୋର ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ଅଛି ଗଙ୍ଗାଧରଙ୍କ ବିଶ୍ୱ ଦେଖ ମଧୁମୟ ଏବଂ ଭୀମଭୂଇଙ୍କ ପ୍ରାଣୀଙ୍କ ଆହତ ଭିତରେ କାହାକୁ କଣ ଦିଶିଲା ଏ ସୃଷ୍ଟିରେ ଯେ ଜଣେ ଲେଖେ ତପସ୍ୱିନୀ ଜଣେ ଲେଖେ ସୁଚିନ୍ତାମଣି।
ଟିକେ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଅଡିଓ କ୍ଲିୟର ହଉନି ଟିକେ ଆଉ ଥରେ କହିଲେ ଅଡିଓ କ୍ଲିୟର ହଉନି ଆଉ ଥରେ କୁହନ୍ତୁ କାଇଣ୍ଡଲି।
ଗଙ୍ଗାଧରଙ୍କ
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
ଗଙ୍ଗାଧରଙ୍କ ବିଶ୍ୱ ଦେଖ ମଧୁମୟ ଏବଂ ଭୀମଭୂଇଙ୍କ ପ୍ରାଣୀଙ୍କ ଆହତ ଭିତରେ କାହାକୁ କଣ ଦିଶିଲା ଏ ସୃଷ୍ଟିରେ ଯେ ଜଣେ ଲେଖିଲେ ତପସ୍ୱିନୀ ଆଉ ଜଣେ ଲେଖିଲେ ସୁଚ ଚିନ୍ତାମଣି।
କ୍ଲିୟର ହଉନି ଅଡିଓଟା କ୍ଲିୟର ହଉନି ଆପଣ ଖାଲି ମୁଁ
sir ମୁଁ ଯାହା ବୁଝିଲି ସେ ପଚାରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି comparison between ଗଙ୍ଗାଧର ମେହେର ତପସ୍ୱିନୀ and ଭୀମ ଭୋଇଙ୍କ ଚିନ୍ତାମଣି।
There is no comparison. These are two master texts of different songs altogether. Bhimo Bhoi Stuti Chintamani is unbelievably is a great work of poetry. That is actually addressing the different kind of godhood altogether. It is addressed to the Anama, who is unseen, who has no form. And here in this one, just a minute. Here in Tapaswini, we are having a real human and the godhood drama together in contrast and in union. There is nothing comparable between Stuti Chintamani and Tapaswini. Nothing.
Sir, there is a question from Himanshu sir. I request Himanshu sir to ask the question directly to the speaker.
It's not a question, it's a delightful talk, sir. This is Himanshu Mahapatra speaking from Bhubaneswar. Can you hear me, sir?
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
No, it is not a question. When I heard the previous speaker, the first speaker ask you about immanence, I thought you had said evanescence. Both in the beginning of your lecture, and you also ended by juxtaposing evanescence with the manifestation of the divine. So I just wanted to seek a humble clarification whether it is immanence that you said or evanescence.
Yes, you are right.
Okay.
And one thing I would like to mention, Professor Mahapatra, because this would require a clarification. You must have read the classic, a reading of Walt Whitman's poetry by Raffatian, the man who coined the word semiotic reading of poetry.
Sure.
If you have come across that, he talks about this. He talks about the immanent quality of a work, which could conspire against the play of images. But actually, I felt, as a person who has been writing poetry for 40-50 years now, I feel the moment the images vanish and the residual thing lingers, that is poetry. That is the height of poetry. But immanence is what is ingrained in the person. The triggering is not done by a poem. Immanence is a principle. It's like, I would compare it with it's an archetypal bed. It's a dead river which lies across the continent, as they say, and not something which is triggered through images. Immanence is not triggered through images. Evanescence happens when the images die, and images die at the height of poetry to give way to the essence of it.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, Professor, namaskar. Professor.
I just want to know how relevant is Tapaswini to our time, and in which way Tapaswini is different from characters like, say, Draupadi, Vyasa's Draupadi, or Kalidasa's Sakuntala. By making Tapaswini very much, can we say that Tapaswini is too very passive compared to the situations of our time? Or we can term her as a sort of rebel. Can she be called a rebel?
Yes, she can be. As a matter of fact, that is exactly what I have been trying to say, Professor Mishra. All these through this lecture, the undertext or the subtext or what remains unsaid openly is Sita is a rebel. She is a rebel who has been given a voice that was stifled because of the time in which Gangadhar wrote. Otherwise, had she not been a rebel, Gangadhar would not have given the kind of things which are given in her mouth. He wouldn't have narrated the circumstance in which he was asked to go to the forest. He says all the good things about Rama, but at the same time, doesn't forget to point out to the world. As a matter of fact, the hermitage is Dharma itself. If you take the hermitage as a symbol, it is a symbol of Dharma. He is addressing Dharma. He is in the protection of Dharma. And she says all the things that she wanted to say about the injustice done to her by Rama, while praising him. He says, "Ye kirti rakha pai jaha kale se uchit, kintu tanko kirti patakare e papinira nama rahijibo je." Is this not a rebel?
No.
Professor Kalidas Mishra, you would remember, breaching and lifting was the discussion we had. Okay, so it is you who suggested that we should not breach, we should lift. I said, okay, we lift. Okay, we lift. Now, while lifting, I have mentioned breaching a number of places because I felt a little violent action was called for the kind of tough exterior Gangadhar poses in this particular great epic. So, Sita is a rebel. Sita is relevant even now, but even a more clearer reading is required of Gangadhar's script. I really wonder how this text was created because this text could have been 1,000 pages. It's absolutely compact. Professor Mishra, you must have yourself as a scholar seen the text, how dense it is. It's a condensed, dense text. And my attention would be to Sarga 11, where good things are visualized. That visualizes me, not the main story or the main theme or the main voice of Sita in Tapaswini. So she is a rebel, she is relevant. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And because he also created a character like Sakuntala in another text.
Sakuntala is nothing absolutely in comparison to Sita of Tapaswini. Pranaya Ballari is no comparison with Tapaswini as a Kavya also. It has its tremendous weaknesses in that Kavya. He was perhaps experimenting with the kind of, he was polishing his hands. Tapaswini is the master. There is nothing comparable to Tapaswini in world literature. What to speak of Gangadhar wrote.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think, Dr. Pati, if there are no questions, we can conclude the session, I suppose.
Sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I request our BMOV Chair Professor Dr. Pradeep Kumar Panda, sir, to propose a formal vote of thanks, and that will be followed by the national anthem.
ସେହି କବି ଯିଏ ତପସ୍ୱିନୀ ପରି ଶାସ୍ତ୍ରୀୟ କାରୁଣ୍ୟ କାବ୍ୟ ସହିତ ରଚନା ବି କରିପାରନ୍ତି କନ୍ଦମୂଳ ଲଙ୍କା ମରିଚ ପରି କବିତା, ଯିଏ ଭାରତୀୟ ପ୍ରଣୟାନୁରାଗର ବିଦଗ୍ଧ ଦୃଷ୍ଟାନ୍ତ ଶକୁନ୍ତଳା ଓ ଦୁଷ୍ମନ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ନେଇ ପ୍ରଣୟ ବଲ୍ଲରୀ ସହିତ ଲେଖି ବି ପାରନ୍ତି ଭିକ୍ଟୋରିଆ ସ୍ତବ, ସେହି କବି ଯିଏ ନିଶାର୍ଦ୍ଧରେ କାନପାତି ଶୁଣି ପାରନ୍ତି ସ୍ୱ ଅକ୍ଷରେ ଘୁରୁଥିବା ପୃଥିବୀ ଶୁଁ ଶୁଁ ଅଶ୍ରୁତ ଶବ୍ଦ, ତାଙ୍କ ଜନ୍ମଦିନରେ ପ୍ରଣାମ ସେଇ ସଦା ବିନୟୀ ନିରହଙ୍କାରୀ ସଦ୍ଭାବ ଓ ସ୍ୱଭାବର କବି ଗଙ୍ଗାଧର ମେହେରଙ୍କୁ। ସୌଭାଗ୍ୟକୁ ଜଣେ ଯୁଗ ନିର୍ମାଣକାରୀ କବିଙ୍କ ଜନ୍ମ ତିଥିରେ कवितार वस्तु शैली और भूमि को निज शब्द शिल्प रे उत्तरित करिवार सामर्थ्यधारी आउ जने ट्रेंड सेटर कवि हरप्रसाद दास को आमे पाइलु आलोचक भाव रे। यह आगरु तपस्विनी आलोचना होईची सहस्रे थर। यह आगरु स्वभाव कवि प्रकृति नियति और मनुष्यर संबंध संघर्ष और सहानुभूतिर चित्र को नहीं लेखा होईची सहस्रे निबंध। किंतु आलोचक कवि हरप्रसाद गंगाधर काव्यालोचना परंपरा रे आरंभ करिसंती आज एक नुआ दिग। काव्यबोधर अभियात्रा और कविकर्मर परिभाषा आज पाइला एक नूतन अर्थकरणा। प्रणाम प्रिय कवि हरप्रसाद। Our humble gratitude and sincere thanks for a brilliant talk on the first session of Gangadhar Mehir lecture series. My sincere thanks to our esteemed Vice Chancellor Professor N. Nagaraju sir, Registrar of the University Madam Jugaleshwari Das Madam, Deputy Registrar Dr. Uma Saran Pati sir, special invitees of this occasion, teachers, scholars, students and other employees of the university. गंगाधर काव्य यात्रार एक चेतनादीप्त वक्तृतामाला रे प्रत्यक्ष और परोक्ष भाव रे जोड़ी होइतबा समस्त विज्ञ साहित्य अनुरागी विदग्ध श्रोता द्रष्टा माननकु मोर आंतरिक कृतज्ञता। शेषरे आवृत्ति करिवि स्वभाव कवि को एक पंक्ति एवं मोर धन्यवाद अर्पण पर्व शेष करिवि। नव विकसित फूल गंध नव सरस कविता छंद वन विहग मधुर तान शिशु सरल तरल गान नव प्रफुल्ल कमल कानन नव सुकुमार शिशु आनन अमृतमय अमृतरय भसाई नेउछि जीवन। प्रार्थना करुछि अमृतमय हो समस्तंकर जीवन। नमस्कार।
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now I request the system manager to please play the national anthem. I request all of you to kindly pay respect to the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you, everyone. Now I request our honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N. Nagaraju sir, to formally declare the closure of the meeting.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for such a wonderful talk. The program comes to a close.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.